Hello again, I'm Forbes adventurer Jim Clash. The Indy Racing League and CART have been feuding for over a decade, much to the detriment of open-wheel racing. Rival league Nascar has siphoned off millions of fans, in the process becoming the biggest racing venue in the United States. Will the IRL and CART ever settle their bad blood? Joining us is 1985 Indy 500 winner Danny Sullivan to discuss this and the 90th running of the Indianapolis 500. Danny, thanks so much for coming in. This is a real honor.
Great to be here. Great to be here.
Like a lot of people, I remember in 1985 when you're passing Mario Andretti in the Indy 500 and all of a sudden you spin out in front of him and you came back to win the race. Tell us, what the heck was that all about? What did that feel like?
Well, of course, the reaction when the spin took place was anger. You know, I'd just gotten in the lead of the Indianapolis 500, and now I'm spinning and throwing away. I'm assuming that I'm going to hit the wall, and my race is done, and that's it.
No fear, just anger.
Just anger. You know, now I see it now on tape maybe a million times. I still get butterflies. I know the outcome, but I still get butterflies. But, you know, I just went down. Mario kind of leaned on me a little bit, which he should have, and drove me down pretty low. And, of course, in those days, the apron was down there, so I was almost to the grass. And just when you come back up across the white and yellow line, across just where the angle changes just slightly,
right.
And those cars are so on the edge anyway with very little wing, it just tripped the car enough to kind of get it sideways.
And, you know, I think about that race because back in 1985, that was when Indy was at the height of everything. I mean, the Indy 500 was the race. It wasn't all NASCAR like it is today. And as a result, you know, over the years, the IRL and CART have been feuding, and there's some talk now that maybe the two will merge and open-wheel racing will again resurface as the big racing in the United States. What are your feelings on that? Can it happen?
Well, I think that a merger should happen. I think it can happen if the two parties will bury the hatchets and whatever issues they have and realize that for open-wheel racing, if it's going to survive, particularly survive against NASCAR, that they've got to merge, they've got to become strong again. There's always issues on both sides, and it's been 10 or 11 years. This isn't like it happened a year or two ago. So a lot has transpired, and they've gone their own routes in a lot of different ways. So the big key is, can they get back together? They should get back together. But for me, the biggest issue is, okay, now you've put it back together. What are you going to do to get it back strong, to get it on the level with NASCAR, or at least be up there in the public's mind as a series that they want to watch? And who's going to run it? Who ultimately is going to run it? Because so far the people that we've seen running both series right now have not really done a very good job. And NASCAR is a strong culture, and it's got a strong organization, and you're competing against them. So
it's like a league, right? Like the NFL or the baseball league. NASCAR is a league.
A league.
And the Indy cars have to become a league. Is there any chance that maybe your ex-boss used to drive for Roger Penske? Any chance that Roger Penske would run a combined outfit?
I don't really see that Roger would run a combined outfit. I mean, he's got his own business empire to run and so forth. And you really have to have a lot of knowledge in running a league. You know, you have to have that mentality. And I think that you really got to go take a page out of the NASCAR book or the NBA or the NFL or some great run organizations, Formula One. What do we do to make, you know, whatever we want to call it? Let's call it IndyCar for argument's sake. Okay. And what are we going to do to build that? Because it's not going to happen overnight.
Now, the 500 will be coming up this spring, and it looks like we have a half dozen winners in this thing. First of all, any chance we might see you in the race?
Never.
In the race car?
Never.
Okay.
No thanks.
And of that half dozen, I mean, any projections on who you think might have the best chance of winning of the ex-winners?
Well, I think you've got to look at the two current guys, and Castroneves and Dan Weldon.
Yeah.
Castroneves drives for the best IndyCar team ever
Penske.
at Indianapolis.
Right.
Okay, his record speaks for himself.
13 wins.
Right. But Chip Ganassi's outfit is no slouch deal either, and these guys are winners. But the important part for me is that Dan and Elio, they're doing all the races, they're testing, they're developing, they're professional drivers, they're focused on it, their mindset is there, they're in the game. But I think that if I was a betting man, I was going to put it on one of the two current drivers.
And then let's just end on what's Danny Sullivan doing these days? Are you going to go back to the broadcast booth? Clearly not going to drive in the Indy 500. But what's Danny doing?
Well, I've got a number of things. We finished our Red Bull driver search program. Scott Speed's in there. He's already scored his first World Championship points with a new team. I'm doing some marketing. I'm doing a little broadcasting this year for CBS.
Okay.
I'm on a couple advisory boards like Escort radar detectors, that sort of thing.
Well, what are you doing for Escort? Are you trying to outrun the police with these things?
Well, a little bit. I put them in the car and I see how fast I can go and see if they actually no. And seriously, it's just some strategic advisory stuff for them and helping them get with certain dealers, groups, and so forth.
Danny, I really appreciate you coming in. You know, we all remember your spin and win, one of the most memorable moments in Indianapolis 500 history, and thanks for the memories and continued good work with what you're doing.
Thanks, Jim.
Okay. Again, Danny Sullivan. I'm Forbes Adventure columnist Jim Clash. For more adventure, check out my column in Forbes magazine or pick up a copy of my book, To the Limits. And thanks for watching the Forbes.com video network.